Jack here from the Washboard Resonators, and today I'm gonna do a little video on my collection of painted drum heads. So here we go, I've got them all out here for you. I didn't realise I had so many, to be honest, until someone asked us to do this video. So what I'm going to do is talk you through each one. And so these two I got here were both these were used for pop bands in right 6 years ago now. I played with this great guy called Bruno Mars, as you can see painted on. It's kind of like folk, pop, acoustic stuff, but it was a great band, and he's a really dear friend and I still love working with him. And he's also an amazing artist, and so he painted all the heads here apart from that one. So he's done a lot of favours for me over the years. So these are most of these are synthetic heads, just because it's what I had lying around when we started doing this. They're giving me the idea to do one, because I like the throwback with them when you're doing the pop stuff, and it's a cool different way to have your name on the bass drum, instead of just a vinyl sticker or a prefabricated head. So these are what I had lying around, and as you can tell they're plastic ones, and I got the hole for the mic to go in. But the inspiration for these is, it got changed because I was using an 18 and then I went to a 20. But the inspiration for this beautiful mountain scene that went on was taken from an old Ludwig print, which I've got the book out down here. So these are in the 20s. These are the heads. This is the Rob Cook Ludwig book, which I highly recommend if you're interested. But you can see the painted mountain scenes in it. So I thought, I'll take a bit of inspiration from that and do that, and obviously you can tell he nailed it. They've all got all these heads that I used on public gigs. They've all got Ludwig on because I'm endorsed by them, so I had to. The old heads didn't have a brand on, but I've got to do that. It's a bit of a modern twist on them, and I quite like it, to be honest. So those are the two that I used with Bruno. Then this one was my second band out of college that I joined back in 2014. It's like a blues jazz trio, which was quite a lot of fun. And I got this head done. I got this head done going on bus gigs. This is a 22 that came on another drum. I think it's pretty cool because you can see it's been painted before, or the drum's been painted, or a bit of both probably. So it's an old calf head, and I love the typeface that Bruno used on this again. And obviously it's caricatures of the band as it was. You can see Martin there on double bass, famously of the Washboard Resonators. And the guitarist unfortunately left very soon after this was painted, so it's a bit of a waste really, but I think it's really cool. And the drum in it that he painted is actually that drum, so it's kind of cool. He painted two of his own drums. This one is a 26, and this one was taken, again, a lot of these heads have old dancers on, things like that. So again, there's a couple of people dancing there. There's a dancing girl, famously dancing. So I wanted a kind of twist on that, but obviously I used to do before COVID some Lindy gigs and things like that. So I thought, I'll get a couple of Lindy dancers on. And I always liked sunsets in the pictures, because when you have lights on them, the 20s drums, if they were good ones, they had light bulbs in them, and to try and keep the heads under tension with the heat. The really good ones had two different. They used to hang down from the middle, really long ones, and you'd have two different colours, so it would flash when you were playing if you were really posh. So that was that's what they used to do, and I thought, if you could have a light in it, a sunset would look so good. So we're going to do this in a sunset, and I'm going to put his little initials in this one, so that's good. So yeah, that one's that one, and then this one down here is my self-indulgent one, I guess. It's so again, the guys, after the kind of painted heads one went a bit out of fashion, which I'll get to, then drummers ended up putting their names or initials on it, and this is a bit of a throwback to that one really. Just if I'm playing with a deck band or something or anything like that, I tend to use mine. And again, I love the typeface that Bruno used, and that's a little caricature of my tap dancing on there. So that's a 22 as well. This one is a rock and roll band I play in, which was a great band, and it's again, the detail on this is obviously 50s. You can tell it's 40s into 50s, the band, the style of it, and the detail he put on it was beautiful for me, I think. And I think it's just amazing that all this is hand painted as well. I think we had originally did these in yellow, and then we got them redone in green, so they're not quite as bright, but the detail on that one, it looks great from a distance, and it's cool that it's not a transfer, Now this is the only one that Bruno didn't do. So this is a 1928 Ludwig Universal bass drum. Was it? I think it might be 30 actually, 1930. It's 28 by 14, so it's a big lad. And to be honest, this I don't really like this head. I think it's a reproduction one. I think it's done in the 70s, and it's a bit kind of cheesy for my liking, to be honest, because it's kind of a steamboat, like obviously the New Orleans kind of thing, and some of the symbols down here on it. And this is on calf. It's just that this one and that one are on calf. Otherwise, they're all on synthetic. And it's just, I think it's got a bit of felt tip around the writing instead of a pen, I think. And I don't personally like the steam over the New Orleans part, but again, it's a cool image, and from a distance, it certainly looks old-fashioned, And then this one, if I'm honest, is probably my favourite drum. It's the first one that I ever got painted. Bruno did this one for me again, and there's a famous one. It's not in the magazine actually. I think it's a different company. Not in the book, sorry, it's a different company that did it, but there's a famous head of two people kind of kissing like that in a scene, but it's smaller, and the ground is just a green ground and a blue sky, and then two trees and a sun. It's like very simple, and I thought, we could do this, but do it with a sunset vibe, And it came, and I didn't know what to expect, and Bruno didn't either, because he wasn't sure how to do it. But then he came back with this, and I think it's amazing. It's an old Jedson bass drum, this one, a narrow one, but I used this on a lot of all of the Lead City Stompers gigs, and I have used it since. And this drum has the trap door so this isn't the original light in it, but it's got one, and I use it. So this looks great when you actually turn it onto gigs. So I'll put a picture at the end of what it looks like in the dark and on stage, which looks great. But it's up or down side of it. So because when the light's on, you can see the brush strokes in the paint, which I personally like because I know who did it. But when they did them originally in the factories, it was done called stipple painting, I believe. It's like they pinpointed all the paint in so that, because obviously these are calf heads, they shrink and expand. You didn't want the paint to crack, which in theory this one could, but it hasn't. But I guess to be honest, it hasn't had a lot of hard work. Well, it hasn't been used for a few years now anyway, so it's survived well. But if you're interested in this, there's a great podcast on the Drum History podcast, and he did one all about the history of painted drum heads, so I would advise to go and check that out. It's called the Drum History podcast. There's loads of stuff on there, and the painted drum head is very useful, and you'll kind of know what he's talking about now. I've shown you some of these. The final one I got out here is this isn't a painted one, unfortunately. This is just a vinyl sticker one. This is kind of quite a common thing. So Gene Cooper and Buddy Rich and loads of drummers famously ended up using you had your initials in a kind of shield shape like this, or a different kind of shape that the initials were in, or Count Basie and had the initials slashed for the drummer and his band, so it's quite a famous thing to have initials on. So this is of like the 30s, I guess into 40s throwback that a lot of people have now, and again it's a bit more subtle, I guess, than the painted heads. So that's the kind of most modern style one I use. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this. If you've got any questions, send us a message. And if not, we'll see you again soon. So keep in touch and keep safe. Bye.